Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never-ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing.
Hi guys, welcome to episode 158 of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. So I usually try to keep each podcast evergreen, which basically means someone can listen to it a year from now and it would still be current. Well, I'm going to break from that just a little bit because I kind of want to talk about current things that are happening because I think our mental health could really be in jeopardy if we continue down certain paths. And I also believe we can do something about it, but we have to be aware of it first. Which is the way we fix most things, right? You have to be aware that there's a problem. But there's also a thing called getting out ahead of it. I mean, we can get out ahead of things to make our life way better. Mentally, physically, financially. For example, it would be way easier to never start smoking than it would be to stop smoking once you are already smoking. So if you get out ahead of that, it's a lot easier for you. It's also way easier to not start gambling than it is to stop gambling once you're addicted. Does that kind of make sense? So if you see a pattern of something happening that could be detrimental to your long-term wellness, whether it's mental or physical wellness, it's easier to stop before it becomes a habit or a problem or before you pick up the pattern at all. I'll give you an example for me. So a Dunkin' Donuts restaurant moved in around the block from us a while back. And when it first got here, I thought, hey, I'm going to go grab a donut. It sounded really good to me at the time. But then I thought about it and I was like, you know what? I drive by this little shop all the time. If I start right away by getting a donut, that could be a repeated pattern that's detrimental to my health goals and also to the way I want to look in my clothes. So I didn't even start it, not even once. And look, one time isn't going to hurt you, but some of us, and I would say most of us, get into patterns where our taste buds can run the show. So if you can just do once, then more power to you. But for me, I knew it could be an issue, so I didn't even want to start it. I didn't give myself a chance to create a bad habit. I got out ahead of it. Okay, so for now, what I see is a potentially big problem for our mental health right now. The media and some of the leaders seem to be pushing this narrative of wanting everyone to be fearful of everything, but mainly each other. More than that, to view other people as dangerous, even small children. I don't know about you, but that doesn't resonate with me. I can't imagine a world where I'm fearful of a young child or of a sweet 90-year-old grandmother. Yet this is what seems to be being pushed. And if something doesn't resonate with you, you don't have to buy in just because someone on TV or the internet says it. What do you think? That's the most important thing we can do right now, is to be aware of what we think, what resonates with each one of us. You have an inner guidance system. We all do. You have it for a reason. It's to guide you, to help you make decisions, to direct you to the information you need to make the right decision, because we aren't always going to know what to do, but we can make the best decision in the most informed way if we learn to trust our instincts. I think that's why COVID's been so hard for Americans. We're kind of used to being left alone for the most part. We can believe what we want and think how we want, but more recently I'm noticing people thinking less and less for themselves and kind of needing someone else to tell them how they should think for really important things like our own health. I started thinking about this recently when I was driving in the car after being in a scenario where there were lots of people giving their opinion about vaccines and what other people should and should not be doing. I was driving along and I was so confused because people have very strong opinions. I think we can all say that. And sometimes they have no idea what they're talking about. They're just regurgitating what they've heard on the news. And all news right now seems biased one way or the other. So I'm driving and I think I wish I could talk to someone that really knows, someone that could tell me what's right and what's wrong. Where do I find that? And then it hit me like a brick. Wait a minute. What do I think? What feels right to me? That's really what matters. It's my life. If I choose to take on the ideas and thoughts of others as my own when I'm the only one that has to live with the consequences, no one else. If I decide I want to buy into the fear of others and the never leave the house idea, then who suffers? Me, that's it. Maybe the people that live with me too, but then they have to decide if they want to live like that. I mean, if we choose to believe a thought given to us by someone else, maybe the media or a politician, that does not resonate with us, I mean, it feels a bit off, but we believe it anyway, then that's on us. We can't blame the people giving that thought because a lot of times they're getting paid to do it. So what do? We get out ahead of it. We question everything. We think for ourselves. There's a question that I ask myself over and over. It's like, what input am I allowing to affect me today? What influence am I under? Are these my beliefs, or are they just what I'm hearing over and over so I can't tell the difference? I mean, does this belief that I have resonate with me, or do I believe it because the group believes it? Do I believe it because it's the easy, passive way? And I don't know the answers to these questions for you. I mean, if you quiet your mind, your inner guidance system will give you the answers. And what you do with that is totally up to you. Now, I personally have been trying to stay off the news as much as possible. Remember that donut thing? I know my brain will want more and more of the drama. So I try to get out ahead of it before it grabs me. Now, I'm responsible for my mental health the same way I'm responsible for my physical health. James Clear recently said, "A body filled with junk food struggles to move well. A mind filled with junk thoughts struggles to think well." What are you filling your body with? What are you filling your mind with? We're each responsible for the food we feed our body and the food we feed our mind. No one cares as much about our body as we do. That's just how it is. I, for one, am glad that I'm on my own team. Is your body glad that you're in charge? Dr. Osborne was straight with me. When we talked, he said, "Heidi, when we're in a meeting, I'll give you everything I have to keep you as healthy as possible. But once we're done with our appointment, I'm on to the next patient after this. So you have to take it upon yourself to follow through on any of the protocols I give you." I loved that honesty. I mean, it was so refreshing. He gives me all the information he has, but I have to do the work. And I am not doing this because I have major health problems. I'm doing this because I want to get out ahead of any major health problems that food can and does cause. Same thing goes for our mindset. We have to get out ahead of all the negativity we're listening to, and that's filling at pretty much everybody's heads. I mean, we use so much energy, almost frantic energy, when we let ourselves be influenced by people that are making no sense. Whether we're influenced to prove them wrong or influenced to follow blindly, both can be detrimental to our long-term mental health because we're expending energy that could be put towards things that grow us, things that nurture us, things that make us better. But the drama of the whole situation is so enticing because we're always searching for something that validates what we already believe. And there's a lot of that out there. But what's true? That's the $1 million question right now. And my $1 million answer is trust yourself enough to know. If something feels right in your gut, it probably is. Like Dr. Osborne's healthy eating plan, where we eat mainly whole foods, no processed foods. That feels right to me. It's not easy, but it feels right. And when something feels off, it probably is as well. Like thinking that sweet 5-year-old little girl is dangerous because she's too close or she isn't wearing a mask. That feels very off to me to look at the world in that way. Now, things may resonate differently for you, and that's okay too. I respect other people view things differently. No problem there. From now on, until we have a news source that's unbiased and unbought, we all have to think for ourselves. If we find someone that's knowledgeable that we trust, then great, go with that. But question anything that feels off to you. Never follow blindly again. So it may not be easy, and you may not be following the crowd, but you're definitely setting yourself up for long-term success by getting out ahead of anything that threatens your physical or your mental wellness. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you in a few days.
Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together, and I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.